This is the big dance. This is lights, camera, action.
It's something everyone dreams of, and it's something that everyone sets their goal for.
This is the moment we've been waiting for.
It's just your time in the spotlight, your time to shine.
It's exciting, it's exhilarating. It's something that you look forward to and you never take for granted.
And it just gives me chills thinking about it.
To be amongst the elite college programs in the country, it's quite an honor.
Being here at Nationals is a dream come true for our team.
It's gratifying that I know these athletes are having some of their dreams come true.
It's just something that you're going to remember the rest of your life.
You're watching the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. Welcome to the Fort Worth Convention Center for our live coverage of the second of our two semifinals. Earlier today in Session 1, Florida, LSU, and Georgia advanced to tomorrow's Super 6 final. The session was won by three-time reigning NCAA champs, University of Florida, Kathy Johnson-Clark.
And they put together a complete meet with Alex McMurtry vaulting sky high, higher than ever. And Bridget Sloan, back to her near perfect form on all four events, led this great Florida team to a perfect meet.
However, dynamic LSU impressed us with their explosive routines.
Absolutely, that double twisting Yurchenko was fabulous, as was this double layup by Maya Hambrick.
Then 10-time NCAA team champions Georgia had one of their most consistent meets of the season.
That 1.5 twist was the best of Session 1, and the double layup by Brittany Rogers. This powerhouse gymnastics team led the way.
Now we're set for the 6 teams in semifinal 2. The headliner is #1 overall seed Oklahoma, but all 6 teams, which include Alabama, Utah, UCLA, Cal, and Nebraska, will compete for the final 3 coveted spots in the Super 6 final. Well, what a stacked session we're talking about. 4 of these teams, OU, Alabama, Utah, and UCLA, have won a total of 22 NCAA team championships. It's going to be great tonight. I'm Bart Connor, along with my fellow Olympic medalist, Kathy Johnson-Clark. I know we're focused on tomorrow's Super 6 final, but some say the pressure in this semifinal is even more intense tonight.
And I would agree with them, because in the finals, you have nothing to lose. You go for broke. You're not protecting anything. Here, you could have a great meet, but if you're not in the top 3, you're not moving on. And when you look at these teams, Oklahoma is stronger than ever. Alabama has peaked right at the right time. And Utah came so close last year to winning it all. They're very hungry. UCLA, they love to entertain. It's going to be great, but it is pressure-ridden.
I'm looking forward to the night. But remember, only 3 teams qualify to the Super 6 final tomorrow night. Tonight, we'll fill in our brackets with the 3 remaining Super 6 finalists. Plus, we'll crown the NCAA individual apparatus winners, as well as the all-around champion. When we come back to Fort Worth, competition in the first rotation will begin.
To achieve financial security, there are 2 halves to consider: protect and grow. Instead of focusing on insurance or investments alone, we bring them together into one whole picture. At Northwestern Mutual, we guide you along your path by combining personalized investments and world-class insurance. That's one of the reasons 96% of our clients stay with us year after year. At Northwestern Mutual, we help you live life differently.
And in part by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. And Mountain Dew, do the do.
Semifinal number 2 on the way from Fort Worth. I'm Laura Rutledge, and Oklahoma is well aware that they're the #1 seed here, but they're not listening to any of the hype around the Sooners. They're not internalizing it, and they're making sure instead to focus on the gymnastics that got them here and not look ahead. Now, Utah, on the other hand, they've got a huge chip on their shoulders. After coming so close to winning last year, it's motivated them this entire season. They've got a fire within them. Alabama, they're here to work hard. They're bringing their lunch pails to this NCAA championship. They're all about quality over quantity. UCLA, on the other hand, could not be having more fun. They're celebrating, dancing, laughing, letting all their free spirit shine. And one goal in common for all these teams, despite the different approaches, it's advance to the Super 6, Bart.
All right, thank you, Laura Rutledge. Glad to have you on our team. Now, if you're a fan of college gymnastics, we got you covered. Log on to the ESPN app, watch ESPN or ESPN3, and you can customize the channel you want to watch so you can watch our broadcast, but make sure you don't miss any performances from your favorite team. Danusia Francis from UCLA, the senior from Kenilworth, England, former national team member in England and Olympian. Thrilling gymnast to watch.
And UCLA had a rough outing on the uneven bars at the regionals. They hope to do much better here, and so far this opening routine looks super. Finishes with a pike double back and a nailed landing and a frog jump.
Yeah, UCLA is going to party all day long. We'll talk more about that, but that is the philosophy of their head coach, Val Condos. She's been 26 years in leadership position there, and she says, let's have some fun, ladies. UCLA is ranked 8th in the country. Now remember, this is a 6-team competition, so 4 teams competing simultaneously, and 2 teams are on bye. So in this first rotation, Oklahoma and Alabama are on byes. We go to Cassandra Lopez, the senior from Utah, on the vault for the Utes.
And they got lucky getting this rotation starting on vault, where they can use all the adrenaline up. A little bit too much there. Overdid that vault and had to hop back. Their first vaulter, Bailey Rowe, got a 9.7875.
Well, you mentioned the motivation for Utah, of course, last year. We all talked about it. 5 100ths of a point off the championship that was won by Florida. So they have used that to fire them throughout the year. And, of course, they've had huge leadership changes. Greg Marsden, their 40-year head coach at Utah, has retired. So his wife, Megan Marsden, is the co-head coach along with Tom Barden. Sonia Miraz now on the bars for UCLA. Score for Danusia Francis, a very strong 9.85.
A little bit short on that first handstand. That's just a sign of nerves. Sometimes you get a little too conservative. There, that much better.
Interesting that this team has faced a lot of adversity with injuries this year, but the bulk of their performances have come from walk-on gymnasts, and Sonia Miraz is one of them, the sophomore. Samantha Partika, the sophomore from Katy, Texas, one of many gymnasts competing here, who is from the powerhouse clubs in Texas.
Yurchenko full again, a hop backward. I just keep in mind how close this competition could be, how many great teams vying for those top 3 spots. Those landings and the hops on them will add up.
First 2 scores for Utah on vault. Bailey Rowe had a 9.7875 and Cassandra Lopez a 9.7125. So good, but not great scores there so far. It's worth noting that the gymnasts are competing on a podium here, which is essentially like a stage. It's a 3.5-foot riser, and all the equipment is up on this riser, and it does change the dynamics of the equipment. The floor's a little bit bouncier, the beam's a little wobblier, and it's harder to stick landings many times.
I've seen Nebraska have a couple of landing issues in their first routines so far, and it's because of that bounce. You really have to settle into the landing.
Plus, in this first rotation, everybody's pretty juiced up, so there's a lot of adrenaline pumping. Caitlin Ohashi now, freshman from Plano, Texas.
Very nice form throughout. We'll see her later in the competition where she really excels on balance beam, but her technique here is so pretty. Very effortless swing, straight body line throughout. Good solid routine, full out there, very, very nice.
Here's a young lady that suffered a broken sternum earlier in this season from just a terrifying dismount off the balance beam.
Watch how she waits on that twist, really sets it up. Chris Waller, the associate head coach and coach on bars, very happy with that.
Waller has been there 14 years, done a nice job assisting Valerie Kondos Field. Once again, I like this all-around channel because literally this is kind of how it feels when you're in the building. There's 4 things happening simultaneously and you're trying to decide where you watch. We'll be headed over to Brianna Hughes from Utah when they're ready with the score. Samantha Partika had a 9.785. So 3 good vaults for Utah, but they haven't broken into the 9.8s yet. One other thing worth noting at this session tonight is there are 6 judges as opposed to the normal 4. 6 judges, the high and low are thrown out, and 4 scores in the middle are average. That's why our scores are calculated out to be 10,000ths of a point. Here is the senior from Champlin, Minnesota.
Very nice. 1.5. Beautiful form in the air. She was almost directly in line with the table, so nice alignment. Check for her body position as she blocks off the table. Nice lift. Nice tight body. You really want to look for the athlete to be above the level of the table when they finish that flip and twist. Well done. Love that combination and right up to the high bar. Beautiful form and technique on that double ad. Oh, unfortunately had to pike down.
Christine Peng Lee, an excellent career as an elite athlete, competing for Canada, but she came back from a severe injury.
She's had bad luck with injuries throughout their collegiate career. Has only been able to compete just a handful of routines for them, but when she does, they're beautiful.
So after Danusha Francis led off UCLA on bars with a 9.85, Sonia Miraz at a 9.7625. Caitlin Ohashi came in with a 9.825. And we go to Kyla Delaney from Yorba Linda, California. She's a senior.
Very nice execution on the full twist. The best part of that vault was the distance from the table. She had decent height. Pretty good body position, a little bit of pike in it, but I love the way she flew out away from the table, really showing off that distance to the judges.
She took off in Fort Worth and landed in Dallas. Well done. Kyla Delaney. Scores have built for Utah. Tiffany Lewis had a 9.8, Brianna Hughes a 9.8875, and expect a good score for Delaney. Remember, in team competition, 6 athletes compete. Just the top 5 scores count towards their team total.
Jessica Howell from Cal. It's so wonderful seeing this team at the national championship, only the 2nd time in their program's history. Last time was in 1992.
Yeah, this is fantastic to see Cal here competing. Came on strong at the end of the year, and they're doing really well on beam. 2 9.8375s for Charlie Owens and Desiree Palomares. And Sophie Seilmack had a 9.8875 in the leadoff role. This is their most improved event, according to their coaching staff.
This is a gorgeous routine. I love the extension, showing off the flexibility, and her posture is really lovely.
I mentioned their coaching staff. It's another husband and wife team. Justin Howell and his wife, Elizabeth Crandall Howell. Elizabeth herself was quite a fine gymnast in her career.
All their scores so far in the 9.8 range. They're doing a terrific job on balance beam.
It's interesting, Georgia started on beam in session 1 and they were lights out, so it was good luck for them there. Oh, a mistake there on floor for Nebraska.
Unfortunately, they've had a lot of landing issues and problems with the tumbling passes.
This is Grace Williams. Their highest score is Caitlin Orell, 9.8.
We're waiting for the score for Janae Honest from UCLA, and this is Sofina De Jesus preparing for the uneven bars. So far, UCLA is doing very, very well. All their scores in the mid 9.8 range.
Janae Honest just before her in 9.8625. Heng Peng Lee a 9.825.
Nice combination with that full pirouette into her release move. Good to see the back-to-back difficulty.
Although a pretty significant leg separation as she swung through the bottom.
Now the judges sit to the side, so they will see things somewhat differently than we do from this end. But I'm sure they could see that was a perfectly stuck dismount. And when you don't give away that 1/10 of a point for a hop, that is a huge bonus.
Zoe Draghi now on beam for California. Jessica Howe, 9.7625. So 3 scores in the 9.8s and 1 9.7625 for Cal. It's a great start on beam.
Absolutely, they've done themselves very well here. I jumped into the chute jump, just a little balance issue there, lifted the leg. Beautiful toe point. Look at the extension all the way through the foot. This is Jenny Lang from Nebraska over on the floor exercise, beginning her routine. Nice job on balance beam. Still can't quite get the timing of the landings. You can see they're almost bouncing on that landing rather than absorbing the landing in control.
Good point. They've had a fall and they've had one out of bounds as well. Jenny Lang from West Middlesex, Pennsylvania. She's a junior.
Most of the other teams you see put a mat out there to land on, which is allowed. You put what's called a sting mat for the landings of the tumbling passes. They've opted not to do that.
Nebraska making its 24th appearance at these NCAA championships. Their highest finish was 4th, and they've done that 3 times in 1989, 2003, and most recently in 2011. Grace Williams before her at an 8.975. We go back to balance beam where California has really gotten off to a spectacular start. Emily Richardson, the junior, up now, their final performer.
Oh! Not quite smooth on that series. Saw a bit of nerves creep into her right before she went into the series. Just really have to concentrate on getting into a rhythm. Stay right where you are. Don't think ahead too far.
She did her club training at the World Olympic Gymnastics Academy just over in Frisco, Texas.
And the dismount. Great double back, nice height. On a more difficult dismount, it's really nice to see people pushing the envelope a little bit.
What an impressive athlete. You know, she weighed just 2 pounds and 4 ounces at birth after being born prematurely.
It must have all been muscle, though. Because look at this, she is powerful, strong.
How about that? Nicely done, Emily Richardson. Holly Blansky, their anchor on floor and their go-to gymnast most often.
They really need a big score here. Try to keep them in the mix. High double layout, much better landing. See how she absorbed that landing, controlled before stepping into the lunge.
She shared the floor exercise Oklahoma's A.J.
Nice combination pass, ended with the Rudy into the double stag jump.
The balance gymnast as well scored a 39.45, so she placed third in the all-around there as well.
Excellent tumbling throughout the routine. Got the landings on this one.
So they ended up respectable scores in total from Grace Williams, but Holly Blansky will expect a good score there, but they have others in that 9.8 to 9.8625 range. The lowest counting score is 9.625. Give us a good chance to remind people the rules. Remember, the top 3 teams in each semifinal advance to the Super 6 finals. Each team has 6 rotations, which includes 2 buys, 6 gymnasts in each rotation. The lowest score on each event is dropped. It's different than the regular season that there's 6 judges on each event instead of just 2. The high and low scores are dropped, and the middle 4 scores are averaged. And then the NCAA individual champions in each apparatus, as well as the all-around, will be determined by the end of tonight's session. We already have some leaders in the clubhouse, so to speak, from the first session on each individual event. But this is the first year that they are no longer having a special day dedicated to the individual apparatus finals. And so the individual champions in the 2016 NCAA apparatus finals will be determined tonight. Our last competitor is competing here as an individual. If an athlete is not among the top 12 teams qualified to the NCAA championship, if they're an outstanding individual, they have a chance to compete here as well for individual honors.
And we've been so impressed with how the teams have really embraced the individual athlete that's moving around the floor with them in their rotation, really supporting them, making them feel like they have a team behind them.
Lisa Burt, basically, after the entire Nebraska team goes, she steps up and competes for her individual honors.
Ooh, just stayed in bounds. Nice original choreography in this routine. Nice. The highlight of the routine, really the choreography, very unique presentation, and great choice of music.
All right, let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
All right, thank you so much. Here with Cal head coach Justin Howell. And Justin, a great start on beam for you guys. Scores in the 9.8 range. How do you build off of that going forward?
You know, it's always great to start on beam. And I think that's a make or break event for any team. And we're a strong, confident beam team. So I think that we carry that momentum and that energy and that confidence that we had on beam. And, you know, we take it into floor, you know, which is kind of where the party starts for us.
I love it. The party starts there and you got beam out of the way. So before we see you on floor, you'll head into a bye. What's your message to the team going in there?
You know, really just relax. You know, they play games, talk to each other, listen to music. Really just stay relaxed. You know, not too much pressure on themselves, thinking about the next event until we get out here on the floor, and then it's time to have some fun.
All right, we can't wait for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bart?
All right, Justin Howell and his wife Elizabeth Crandall Howell, they use a laid-back approach that works in the Bay Area, no question about it. Here are the leaders after the first rotation. Alabama and Oklahoma were on a bye. They will be competing when we come back. And welcome back to the Fort Worth Convention Center. We just completed the first of 6 rotations. Those are the leaders. Utah is in second behind UCLA, California in third, Nebraska in fourth. Alabama and Oklahoma will begin their competition in this second rotation. Let's take a look at some highlights from the first rotation, Kathy.
Tiffany Lewis came up with a 9.8 on vaults. Utah was good enough here to clinch that second spot so far in the competition. And UCLA had a terrific start on bars. Janae Honest came up with a high 9.8 routine. Really got their momentum started. Cal was outstanding. This freshman led off for a terrific beam team. Went 6 for 6, off to a great start. Nebraska had some troubles on floor landings, but no problem here. They will have some ground to make up, however, and hopefully they can do that next event, which will be vault.
Rotation 2 will begin when we come back. The Oklahoma Sooners will open their bid here at these championships on the floor exercise when we come back to Fort Worth.
What's this? Little Caesar's stuffed crust deep dish pizza.
Let's take a look at how the teams in the second semifinal are planning for success. Brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Well, unlike most sports you may know where defense can have an effect on the outcome of a game, you can affect how the other team plays. Not so in gymnastics. It's all offense. And most of these teams refer that to as stay in your bubble, focus on yourself, your routine, every athlete as they go build that momentum and fight for every 10th of a point.
Okay, the Crimson Tide 6 times. They have won the NCAA team title, and they were impressive at the SEC championships, finishing just behind Florida. And boy, I think they were a little bit angry about that. Nebraska moves to the vault. UCLA goes to the beam, and the Oklahoma Sooners will be on the floor. Here's Keely McNear, lead off on the bars for the Crimson Tide.
And this was the event that Alabama came on so strong at the SEC championships in the final rotation, so they are capable of not only hitting routines, but coming up with big numbers here if they hit. Keely McNear does a great job starting them off, really focused in on that landing.
They really thought it at the SEC championships that they had done enough to win it all in that final rotation, but it wasn't to be. So Brian Rashilla, the co-head coach and the coach of the bars team for Alabama, has got his team focused.
Wow. Oh, just stepped out of bounds on the floor exercise.
Natalie Brown from Oklahoma over there in the bottom right of your screen.
And she's absolutely gorgeous on this event. Those long legs, very, very flexible, elegant presentation.
Another Texas gymnast. In fact, 40% of the Oklahoma Sooners team come from Texas clubs.
Outstanding choreography in this routine. She's not a powerful tumbler, but she does enough to get the full credit of the routine and just tries to wow them with gorgeous choreography.
Lauren Beers now second up for Alabama on the bars. Keely McNear, a 9.8.125.
Lauren is not only a strong leader for this team, but a powerhouse. Even on this event, she brings a lot of strength and power. Look at the handstand position. Very nice right on top. It's a double front dismount. Let's see if she can get the landing.
Oh, nice.
Almost perfect.
Wow.
Really, really nice in the air, and just the tiniest of hops.
It's great to see that smile on her face. In the last few meets of the season, it looked like she started to doubt herself a little bit in her senior year. Sienna Kraus, the freshman from Fargo for Nebraska.
Oh, big step there. Just like we saw on floor, they're giving away tenths of a point on these landings.
Bottom right of your screen, Chase Capps, one of the top all-arounders in the country, has had a fantastic year. And she was a competitive dancer, as was her mother. So the junior from Plano, Texas, the big-time Big 12 co-gymnast of the year twice in a row, has a very interesting style and a unique music and choreography. Laura has more.
Bart, Chase says she absolutely loves floor because she loves performing, and she thinks when the performance aspect is there, the tumbling is there too. Now, speaking of tumbling, watch for her last pass in this routine. She wants to make it as big as possible because it's the last thing the judges see.
KJ Kindler does the choreography and picks the music for these routines, and she prides herself on very different stylistic routines.
Not only did she outdo herself this year, but she had to have had a ton of fun creating these routines. Such a nice dynamic quality to the choreography. It really suits the music and the tumbling. They flow seamlessly.
I love the ending of this routine.
Very appropriate. That's how we often feel at the end of a floor routine. And she can show it. Danielle Breen on the vault for Nebraska moments ago. Very nice landing on a difficult vault, that half twist, front layout out. And Katie Bailey for Alabama, trying to keep the momentum going on this event. Very, very nice position in the air for that release move. Perfect distance from the bar. Katie has been clean all year long, very consistent with this routine. And the dismount is wonderful. Watch this, full out.
Oh, nice.
Just such a long time to spot that floor, and she usually nails the landing.
Nice job for the junior from Kernsville, North Carolina. The lower right part of your screen, Keely Kanichek with the Sooners.
Kiana Winston on the bars. Oh, a little bit close on that release move. They'll take a tiny deduction there, but that was very nicely done. The Pac Salto down to the low bar.
Katie Bailey before her a 9.9, Amanda Jeter a 9.85, so very good scores for Alabama on bars. Their lowest score is a 9.8125.
Great routine. The tiniest of errors, just coming in a little bit close on the release move. The rest was superb.
The hometown girl, Kiana Winston from Fort Worth. Jenny Lang on vault for Nebraska now.
Nice setup before that full twist. Love the way she blocks off the table, waits, and then twists. can really hear the Oklahoma fans cheering on their athletes. A nice finish to that floor routine.
Well, we're only about 180 miles away from Norman, Oklahoma, so there are a lot of Sooners in attendance. And of course, as I mentioned, 40% of the team comes from Texas clubs, including this young lady, Mackenzie Brannon from Austin, Texas. She's a sophomore and she's great on the bars.
What's great about this athlete is she can go anywhere in the lineup and do her job. She's a great anchor on the uneven bars. Here's her release move. Very well done.
Excuse me, I misspoke. Mackenzie, of course, competes for Alabama, but she is also a Texas club gymnast. Apologize.
Caitlin Ohashi over on balance beam. She is superb on this event. Nice job by Brannon. Excellent work on fighting for that landing and showing it off.
Alabama had a spectacular opening rotation on the uneven bars. Just what they had hoped for.
Just beautiful work throughout the entire routine. Solid all the way to sticking the landing. Great job.
Moments ago, Holly Blansky, their anchor on vault.
Look at that, 1.5, great landing. They needed that. Wasn't perfect form in the air, slight knee bend throughout, but what a landing she came up with.
3 scores in the 9.7s for Nebraska. Jenny Lang in 9.8125. And expect a good score for Blansky.
Great scores for UCLA over on the balance beam. All in the 9.8 range, 9.8375, 2 of those, and a 9.8625.
Charity Jones from Oklahoma, trained in Oklahoma City. Scores for the Sooners pretty darn good. 2 9.9s. Chase Katz and Keely Kamichek. A 9.7375 for Natalie Brown. That's the second routine that ends in a flop. Charity Jones had trouble with her plantar fasciitis last year, and she has recovered from that very well. Sofina De Jesus from UCLA on the beam now. 3 impressive 9.8 range scores, and the score for Ohashi is the 9.85.
What's most impressive about these beam routines is how they perform them. They treat it like a stage. Way to fight for that landing. In fact, one of Coach Val's gymnasts said, "I don't smile when I do beam." She goes, "No, you don't understand. It's not an option here. This is a commandment." So they all get up there, smile, perform.
Of course, Valerie Kondo's field comes from the world of dance. So not only is she a great, spectacular choreographer, but she comes to gymnastics from a little bit of a different point of view, and I think it's refreshing. As you mentioned at the top of the show, everything they do has a little bit of entertainment flair, as you'll see in floor exercise in a few minutes.
Well, when you come from Los Angeles,
the competition is tough. A.J. Jackson for the Sooners. Watch this. Boom.
I like the chalk dust.
Shout out to LeBron James, I think. Tied for number 2 in the country in the NCAA rankings based on her 9.94 season average. Really powerful.
Beautiful pass, that back half to the front full. combination passes in the competition. Dynamic choreography that suits her extremely well, shows off her power, opens up out of that pipe double, nicely done. Love the personality of the routine.
Danusha Francis just up on the beam for UCLA, and this is always a highlight of a former British national team member.
For so many reasons. She has unique difficulty in the routine.
They have 5 amazing scores already. De Jesus before her a 9.8625. The lowest score is a 9.8375. So what a start on beam for UCLA.
This has such a great character, this routine, this performance. It's unique from start to finish. It's fun, playful, but it's got all the good difficulty, flexibility. That's a very, very difficult full turn. Most people just opt to do a simple full turn, fulfill that requirement. No, not Danusha.
She finishes with her signature move here.
Love this. Aerial cartwheel sideways on the beam. Check that out. Yeah. Right into a full. Oh, beautiful. That was an excellent routine, and her trademark, I don't know what she calls it, frog jump up here. It's, it's fun to watch.
You can just tell by her hair, she's plenty of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Look at this. Great angle to see this. Takes a lot of flexibility. It's unique. It's all hers.
And she gets a congratulations from Jordan Weaver, the former world and Olympic medalist. He's a student assistant coach. Haley Skaman now up for the Sooners. 9.9125. The Sooners have 3 scores, 9-9 or better on floor, and Skaman is their best.
She really combines it all. The difficulty in her tumbling, the power she shows, and then really turns up a notch when she goes into the dance.
Let's go down to Laura.
Bart, you see that dance from Haley, and she calls it giving the eye. She picks somebody out in the crowd and focuses in on them. She said she wants them to feel the emotion of her routine by the way she looks at them. So I guess we could try to figure out who she's looking at, but it's somebody out there.
She's incredibly shy, so it's not part of her personality to be that way. So that's the mark of a good choreographer and coach, to find a style that works for each of these individual young ladies.
It's like an actor stepping into a role, into a character, and she does it well.
Doesn't hurt to have this kind of power.
Fantastic routine, beautiful shot of that lovely ending pose.
Laura has Nebraska's coach, Dan Kendit.
Thank you, Bart. And Dan, how would you assess the way that your team vaulted?
I thought we vaulted pretty good. You know, I know they've kept the scores a little tight all day long, so it's right in line with what they've been doing. And we just like to have had a little bit better start, you know, on our end of the things. But we got a bye now. We go back and we'll finish on 2 strong events. So that's all we can do.
You mentioned wanting a better start, but the strong events coming up. What will you talk to your team about when you go into this bye?
You know, the bottom line is just stay focused on what we have to do. I mean, nothing changes. I mean, we still got to go do bars. We still got to go do beam. And we got the ability to do well on both of those. So that's what our hope is.
We'll go have fun.
Thank you.
Bart?
Thank you, Laura. It's a great start to this semifinal tonight. All 6 teams are averaging 9-8 or better. And of course, we already documented the fact that these teams have won a total of 22 NCAA team titles. And we've also mentioned that in addition to team slots in the Super 6 final, we'll be crowning individual champions. And it's great to have a chance to see Madeline Gardner from Oregon State. She is not competing here with her team, but she is tagging along with the Oklahoma Sooners, and she's fun to watch.
Oh, I'm so excited to see this routine. It's so well choreographed. Tanya Service Chaplin has done a tremendous job. 2.5 twist.
She grew up in Cambridge, Ontario, and in fact her club coach was the legendary Elvira Sadi from the former Soviet Union, who was known for her exquisite choreography.
An exotic choreography. Oh, missed the timing just a little bit on that tumbling pass, but pulled it out. Beautiful turn, attitude in, then pulls it around for the second turn of the double. Good finish with the pike double. Lovely.
Nice job for Madeline Gardner competing in the all-around tonight, representing Oregon State. Okay, here's where we stand after the second rotation. Now, only UCLA and Nebraska have actually done 2 events. So you see their scores are in the 98 range. Oklahoma, Alabama, Utah, and California have only done 1.
Where does beer get its cup?
Coverage of the NCAA championships continues with the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Selection Show on May the 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. For more information on the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship, log on to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Here are the scores once again after 2 rotations. UCLA and Nebraska have both done 2 events. The other teams rounding out the top 6 here have only done 1. Take a look at some highlights in second rotation, Kathy.
Holly Blansky for Nebraska made up some ground, much needed ground on ball, came up with a perfect landing on her 1.5 twist, and they really needed that big score. Amanda Jeter for Alabama. They were terrific on the uneven bars. Really got a good start to their competition here. Solid on the landing. Every reason to be excited. And UCLA, their lineup, entire lineup, was great on balance beam. This is Sonia Mraz in the second spot. And Danusha Francis. What a character, what a beautiful gymnast. Just thrilled us with a unique dismount, a great routine from start to finish. And Keely Kamichak from Oklahoma, they were so original in their choreography, every routine, great tumbling.
So Alabama, after an outstanding start on the uneven bars, will move to the balance beam. Coming up, it's the third rotation in this semifinal number 2. All right, let's catch up with the scores here. After 2 rotations, UCLA 98-6, very impressive. Nebraska with just over 98. Oklahoma, Alabama, Utah, and California yet to complete their second rotation. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Bart, as you can hear, there's a lot of roll tide going on in this arena, and that's because Alabama has 5 Texas natives, so these Tide families rolling out in full support. Mackenzie Brannon has 16 people coming. Nikki Guerrero has 19 here, and it's really special for these girls to have their families so close. Mackenzie Brannon said this is one of the first times all of her siblings are together and get to come see her compete.
Now, it's still inconceivable to me that no collegiate program in Texas exists, considering how many outstanding club-level kids come out of the Texas clubs. and go to all the other schools.
Can you imagine if one of them
Just
decides to start a
name
team?
one. University of Texas, they could be a contender in 2 years, and they wouldn't have to even recruit outside the state border. All right, here we go to the beam. Keely McNear has been in this position before for the Crimson Tide.
Such a hard-working, disciplined athlete. Great to have her in this leadoff spot. Nice flow connecting those two elements. Alabama has done such a nice job this season of peaking at the right time. They really started to come on strong at the SEC championships. Oh no, slight break there. And then had a great meet at regionals, so they've just timed it perfectly to be
You're
at their
right.
best.
197.75 at the SEC. That loss by 25 thousandths to Florida was the closest in SEC history.
And you really watch them build throughout the meet. By the end, in their fourth rotation, they were just spot on. Finishes strong with a 1.5 twist. Excellent job on getting that landing. Just that one break on her series. They'll take a little deduction there for landing with the chest down and slightly off balance.
Hunter Price for the Sooners, set to go on the vault. Charity Jones led them off with a 9.7625. I like this vault that Hunter Price does.
It's huge. A front pike with a half twist. It's valued at a 10.0.
And it's rare. You don't see many of these.
Takes a lot of power, a lot of speed. Beautiful position here. Look at that landing. Terrific.
There is Lou Ball, the husband of KJ Kindler, and they have done a great job building this program in 10 years at Oklahoma.
A little bit of leg separation. She was pushing so hard from that run into the takeoff. It's so hard to get the dynamics you need with a traditional entry vault. She did a good job.
Tiffany Lewis for Utah on bars. Samantha Partika led them off with a 9.85. That's her career high in a leadoff role.
Nice combination, the full pirouette into her release move. Nice to see them combining these skills of difficulty. Nice easy flow to this routine. Getting ready for the dismount. Good speed in those giants. Nice flare in that double out. Just a slight leg separation on the second somersault, but really nice routine.
For the Sooners on the vault, Keely Kamichek set to go. Hunter Price was rewarded with a career high 9.9125 for her vault.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Block off that table. You see how she set up that twist, just waited, and then wrapped it. Beautiful technique. Love to see it. Straight body. Oh man, her arms were right in line with her head as she waited to twist and then spotted the landing.
And what a soft landing when all these gymnasts are bouncing all over the place on this podium. She just absorbed it so nicely. Huge score expected there.
Mackenzie Branning finishing her routine very nicely with a stuck 1.5 twist. Solid routine again for Alabama.
Keely McNear led them off with a 9.7875. Brannon was in the second spot. So 2 hits for the Crimson Tide on beam so far. Sabrina Schwab now for Utah on bars. I'm so impressed with the polish, the form, and the technique of the Utah team.
Absolutely. Sometimes we will see some athletes really get bigger air on those release moves, but very few rival this perfect form, toe point, legs together. Easy dismount, but look how beautifully done. Very high on that tuck double back.
Chase Kepps set to go for the Sooners. Laura?
But Bart, the main thing for her on this is the hurdle. It makes the biggest difference. If she pulls up tall, the angles are correct. She's always focusing on pulling up.
Nice flare to that vault and a good landing. Notice how those arms went out. Think to her vault, but she did right there. Spots the landing and nails it.
Their second stuck landing in a row and their second 9-9-1-2-5 in a row for the Sooners. Haley Skaman will be the next Sooner to go.
Mary Lillian Sanders on bounce beam showing great concentration. She has added so much to this beam rotation. Love to see the up on high releve.
Haley Skaman, you see she's tied for 18th in the NCAA. You saw her on the floor. She used the same explosive power to score well on ball. Chase caps a 9-9, so 3 scores 9-9 or better for the Sooners, setting up their final 2 vaulters, Skaman and Jackson.
What a lead up to these 2 final performers. A 1.5 twist. Oh, almost got the stick, just took that little step forward. Boy, it's hard not to think ahead to the Super 6 finals and seeing where these top teams can come up with even better performances, and they're doing a terrific job as it is right now.
Ariana Robinson down there in your lower right. Cal on floor.
Asia Sims waiting for a balance beam. Terrific beam performer for Alabama coming up.
Leanna Hughes tied for 15th in the NCAA with an average of over 9-9, and we've seen really clean execution so far here. Sabrina Schwab, 9-8-7-5.
Oh no, she's off completely. She's trying to cover. Well,
great cover up.
It's a great cover up. Just added a little extra work in this routine, I should say, but she's now back into her rhythm. Finishes strong, really strong, with a full twisting double back and another stuck landing.
Asia Sims, Mary Lillian Sanders, a 9-7-7-5. So the high score so far for Alabama on the beam was a career high. Mackenzie Brandon, 9-8-5.
That double back, and what a stick.
And what a smile.
Oh, it all goes together.
Moment ago, A.J. Jackson, after 4 scores of 9-9 or better, the stage was set for this. Watch what happens, folks.
Oh, no. Just got ahead of herself. I'm sure she was thinking about the landing as she was running down the runway and just came up short. Oof.
All right, the Sooners have 3 vaults that have the potential to score as much as a 10 based on their difficulty value after the re-evaluation of the Yurchenko full this year. So, once again, an all-around coverage. 4 events going simultaneously here in the second semifinal.
Cal on the floor has all scores in the 9-7-7-5 range.
Bailey Rowe for Utah on the bars now.
Many of their gymnasts do that combination, the full pirouette into the release move.
Brianna Hughes had a 9.7125, so even though she covered up her routine a little bit, a pretty decent score.
Nice double layout. It's interesting that they add that element, the full turn into the release move.
Kiana Winston now for Alabama on the beam. .98875 for Asia Sims before her. Great score.
Very smooth, connecting those elements.
Winston, the sophomore from Fort Worth, Texas.
Being very deliberate with every movement, staying in good control, good focus throughout this routine.
Well, good for her.
And a tuck double back.
Yeah.
Oh, almost another stuck double back for them on balance beam. That was awfully close.
She was out of the beam lineup for a couple of years, but she did a great double back somersault. Let's see, Dana Duckworth, proud of that performance. Once again, for the individual athletes competing, here is Amanda Wellick from Wheaton, Illinois. She competes for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
And has had a terrific season.
Arkansas did a great job at the SEC championship, but just fell a little bit short at the NCAA regional. That's why they're not here as a full team.
Nice to see this difficulty at the end of the routine. She puts the release move toward the end and finishes with a front double and a great landing. Well done.
Head coach Mark Cook happy with her performance. Sylvie Selnock floor for California. Best score over there is Jessica Howe, a 9.8. Otherwise, the other three scores are in the 9.7s.
Oh, out of bounds.
You see the judges raise the yellow flags to indicate the 1/10 of a point deduction for
Stepped into this lineup position for Tony Ann Williams, who is competing at an Olympic trial meet, trying to qualify to compete for Jamaica at the Olympic Games.
Great, incredible story. It's a young lady who has dual citizenship with the U.S. and Jamaica, and the coaches allowed her, when they recruited her, they said, we'll also support your dreams of competing internationally. So they allowed her to go down to Rio. She's there this weekend trying to qualify for Jamaica for the Olympics in Rio this summer. So Cal is competing here without their most outstanding gymnast.
Provided a great opportunity for her to step into the floor lineup. And just took this double pike a little too far back. They'll take the deduction for the large step, the bounce, and of course, stepping over the line, 1/10 of a point off.
And while that was happening, after Kiana Winston bagged a career-high 9.9 on beam, Nikki Guerrero went into the anchor spot, so 5 very good scores for Alabama on beam, setting up Guerrero.
She's been consistent all year in this anchor spot for Alabama. Very, very solid. Does a 3-element series here. Back handspring into 2 layouts. Uncanny with her ability to stay straight. Goes right to the end of the beam, too.
I really like the fact that they challenge difficulty here. They're not afraid to go for the hard sequences under this kind of pressure. Guerrero, a sophomore from McKinney, Texas, did her club training at Zenith Elite.
Aerial cartwheel into her dismount. Landed with the chest just a little bit down, really trying to get that stuck landing. They had a bunch of them this rotation.
And her score came in at a 9.875, so the lowest score is a 9.775 for Alabama, but otherwise 5 outstanding scores in that rotation on beam. Final performer for Cal on the floor, Zoe Draghi.
And this is great choreography and interpretation of the music. Opens with a tuck double back. She doesn't have huge difficulty, but this is where she shines.
Scored a 9.875 at the NCAA Tuscaloosa Regional this year. She was third on floor at the Pac-12 Championship with a 9.9.
Good lift on that final somersault and control stepping into the arabesque. That's wonderful. I hope the judges really appreciate the choreography, the toe point, the stretch. It was really enjoyable.
Very refreshing to see Cal here for the first time in 24 years in the NCAA championships. Their last appearance in the 12-team field was 1992.
It's especially nice to see them rise to the occasion. It wasn't just getting here. They're doing a terrific job.
The best 12 teams in the country compete in the NCAA Gymnastics Championship here in Fort Worth. But on Saturday, only 6 will remain for the Super 6 final. Who will be crowned the 2016 NCAA Gymnastics Team Champion? Join us at 9 Eastern on ESPNU and also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. That's tomorrow night, folks. The Super 6 finals. Molly Drenth, Iowa, competing here as an individual.
To say that judging has been pretty good throughout this competition. Very challenging for these judges to stay consistent and disciplined throughout 2 sessions of 6 rotations each session. Not an easy task.
There's always a little concern that the scores tend to escalate later on in the day after they've seen a lot of good gymnasts. They're ranking the gymnasts is the most important thing necessarily over the value of the score, but that's why 3 teams qualify from the first session and 3 teams qualify out of the second session, so they try to avoid the effect of scores escalating into the second session of the day.
Great performance. I actually think the individuals have benefited from this format as well. Following great team performances, we've seen some really outstanding individual performances as well.
All right, the Iowa fans showing their support for their individual. Good job for Molly Drenth. We mentioned we're going to be crowning individual champions in each apparatus as well as the all-around. So the currently leaders, Brandy J on the vault, Sloan and Rogers tied for first on bars. Sloan and Francis tied for first on beam. Maya Hambrick on floor. And Bridget Sloan, the leader, with a 39.7. That's over a 9.9 average in the all-around. Sloan, of course, the 21-time All-American senior at Florida, who is finishing up her entire gymnastic career, an impressive career at that, tomorrow night in the Super 6 finals. Lizzie LeDuc, our final athlete from Illinois, competing as an individual on floor. Another Dallas native. Oh, out of bounds.
Requirements that the judges are looking for. Those leaps and jumps showing full split, combination passes, the difficulty that they're looking for. It all comes together to find that determining score at the end. Well done.
LeDuc did her club training at Metroplex Gymnastics and also represents the Philippines as a national team member. She has dual citizenship. All right, let's go down to Laura, who's with KJ Kindler.
Well, thank you, Bart. And Coach, 4 scores, 9-9 or higher on vault. Your assessment of their job there?
Amazing. You know, great landings for us, really big vaults, which is what we wanted from them, and just a great control, I think. And that, I think when you can show control at this level, that's difficult with all the pressure and all the adrenaline, so great job.
You mentioned that pressure and adrenaline. You choreograph creative, really fun routines on floor. How rewarding is it for you to watch them perform on this stage?
Oh, I love to watch them, and I kind of can feel myself doing it a little bit, but they're fun, you know, and they're really bringing the crowd in, and that's what it's all about. You know, they're trying to get the audience involved, and it's fun to watch.
We like when you dance along with them.
Thanks.
Bart.
Thank you, Laura and KJ. Okay, let's update the scores. Oklahoma with an outstanding 98.85. Alabama in second, just about 0.2 of a point behind. UCLA currently in third after 3 rotations. They'll go away. By Northwestern Mutual. Let's update the scores after 3 rotations. All 6 teams have done 2 events now. So it's the first time we're seeing apples to apples, so to speak. Oklahoma, Alabama, and UCLA sitting in those sweet 3 spots that will try to qualify to the Super 6 finals tomorrow night. Some of the highlights from the previous rotation.
And Hunter Price sure helped her team out with that vault, as did Haley Skaman. They really came up with some big vaults, good control under adrenalized pressure. And Cassandra Lopez with Utah, they had a terrific rotation on this event. Very clean bars and great landings. And Alabama was terrific on beam. Kiana Winston, who'd been out of the lineup several meets throughout the season, came up big for them here with this tuck double back. Great job. Cal almost hit that 49 mark on floor. Jessica Howe helped out here. Really doing a terrific job in their appearance at these national championships.
Okay, one of the most entertaining teams on the floor is coming up, so you're not going to want to miss the UCLA Bruins on floor exercise. They're fun to watch.
It's a stage, you know. I think that's the first thing that you notice is that you walk in and there's the podium. It's the stage, it's showtime. And you can't help but just elevate a little bit.
Oh, well, Condos Field. We've known her a long time, Kathy. She brings just a complete, fresh, and different element to women's collegiate gymnastics.
She elevated the stage even further with the unique choreography we're getting ready to see. It's really a treat. They have so much fun presenting this unique choreography.
On Tuesday, our countdown to the NFL draft continues on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern. The next episode of Hey Rookie, welcome to the NFL. Then at 8, it's another NFL matchup draft special. And we wrap it up with a double shot of Gruden's QB camp. Penn State's Christian Hackenberg and the Buckeyes' Cardale Jones. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Once again, it's a 4-ring circus. In this rotation, Utah moves to the beam. Oklahoma's on a bye. California on the vault. Alabama is on a bye. Nebraska to the bars and UCLA on the floor. Start on the beam with Samantha Partika.
This is really the make or break event for Utah. They can be outstanding here. Fall right off the bat. I've seen them succumb to the nerves that come along with this pressure. As I mentioned at the top of the show, it's a different kind of pressure, and one you really can't replicate in training. You just have to figure it out in the moment, how to balance.
Oklahoma currently in the lead. Alabama, UCLA, and Utah all close. And just 3 teams will advance to the Super 6. And the 2 losses that Utah had this year were both to UCLA. And they came back and beat UCLA in the regional.
All right, she came back, hit the rest of the routine, but this is going to be a reset time for Utah. Having a missed routine in that first set. See, she was just not aggressive going into it, and it's the type of event where you just have to attack and not be careful.
Sienna Krause,
nice
Nebraska
skill.
on bars.
Look at
Nice.
that. Beautiful Weiler kick right into her release move. Nice to see.
Wrong
not
way.
supposed to go over on that handstand. She's having to cover right here, get back into the routine. And of course, it affects the rest of the routine until you can get back into the flow. A little bit short on that last handstand as well. Oh, too bad. Great start to the routine, just could not quite hold on to that one handstand and went over the wrong way.
Nebraska has struggled a bit with consistency on bars. 14th ranked in the country this year, just barely over 49.
Okay, some tense moments here. Got Utah on a reset. This is a clutch performance. They need to get back on track with this routine, and she is talking to herself.
Kyla Delaney.
Well, you can really see her calming her nerves, speaking out loud.
Wow.
It looks like to herself, lining this up straight. Great determination.
3-time All-American. 3-time Pac-12 All-Academic team as well.
Layout. Oh, no. Oh.
Utah, remember, was .212 out of 3rd, and they started being with 2 falls.
Oh. So they will count at least 1 fall. This is really hard to watch. Just rushed, bringing her leg down, kept her chest down low. Whenever you're in that piked position, it's really hard to keep your balance and stay straight.
Okay, the pressure mounts on the beam for Utah.
A little low landing on floor exercise, just bent her knees a little too much on that landing. No major deduction, but they will deduct for a low landing. Getting just a little bit tight at this point in the competition, feeling the pressure, feeling how close the competition is, trying to secure that spot in the top 3.
It's interesting, so many teams that led off or competed early on beam did very, very well. That isn't the case in the last half of this competition. Ariana Robinson, the Cal on vault.
Nice vault, front handspring onto the board. Cal's doing some nice vaulting. They have 4 vaults in this competition that are valued at 10-0.
Brianna Hughes.
Up on the balance beam for Utah and another reset situation.
Kyla Delaney, a 9.1375 after Partika's 9.125.
Those split jumps really need to show more full split in the air. Aerial cartwheel into her dismount, way off to the side, completely off course. That's a big deduction, not a fall.
And how uncharacteristic. Danusha Francis starting for UCLA. Let's go down to Laura.
Bart, when Coach Val recruited Danusha, she just absolutely loved her hair and she wanted to make it a trademark. So watch for Danusha to use her hair in this choreography, and it's really become something that she's known for at UCLA.
Out of that 2.5 twist, really worked on regaining the control into the lunge. Change of pace here. James Bond.
Well, she is British.
Yes, of course. Oh, chest down just a little bit. Minor flaw in a great routine. I hate to see any flaws because the choreography was just spectacular.
What fun in Coach Val Condo's field. She really tries to bring out the individual nature in these young ladies and expand on their natural abilities. And it's really refreshing because lots of times coaches tend to make gymnasts sort of in the same mold, right?
Well, unfortunately, there's no other way to describe what's going on here with Utah on balance beam than a meltdown. And if they can stop it right here.
Brianna Hughes had a 9.4875. Let's see if Lopez can get them back on track. But so far, Utah will have to count at least 2 low scores.
Cassandra so far is looking really solid. Very secure in this routine. Certainly not an easy challenge. Way to attack that landing and combine those 2 elements perfectly. really solid. You can see how committed she is to a no matter what mentality here. She's staying on this balance beam. Nice finish. Well done.
Over on bars for Nebraska is Jenny Lang. She fell and has gotten hurt. The doctors are attending to her, but out of respect for her and her teammates, we will not show you the replay. Keep our fingers crossed that she's okay. Emily Richardson set to go for California on the ball. We have 2 scores, 3 scores in the 9-8 range for Cal. Not huge scores, but respectable.
While we wait for the score, take a look at balance beam.
Bailey Rowe is up for Utah.
Seeing determination from this gymnast right off the bat. Again, talking to herself.
Sandra Lopez had a 9-8 for Utah, so finally getting them on track.
Nice series, 3 elements, beautifully done. 2 back handsprings into the layout. Deliberate in every step, talking her way through this routine with great determination, great resolve. Nice job by these last 2 athletes for Utah. It's exactly what Coach Megan Marsden needs to see, some fight. It has not gone well, but those last 2 performances really make a coach feel good.
At this point, what do you say to your team? You had a meltdown early in the rotation.
You keep fighting. That's just the nature of every gymnast. It's the nature of our sport. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. And there's, you know, it's hard when you're feeling the disappointment and not letting the wind just completely go out of your sails.
Well, we mentioned UCLA is usually a highlight. Well, this is one of the great choreography of all time. And let's just sit back and enjoy it, because I think you'll get it here quickly. There's a call. Vale Condos Field would figure out a way to choreograph a cell phone ring into a floor routine and involve audience members and her teammates who reach for their cell phones.
And the nice thing is she didn't call in this routine. She went all out on that last pass. Oh.
Anybody? You said UCLA likes to give people a show.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're not done, because Sofina De Jesus is also going to go in the lineup, and she is entertaining as well. We have no detailed information about Jenny Lang yet from Nebraska, but there is a body board out there, and they're taking every precaution to make sure that she gets the best possible treatment here. Just moments ago, on the beam, there's Maddie Stover from Utah.
Beautiful aerial walkover, but then just gave up just a little bit on the adjustment after.
After the 3 very shaky routines, Lopez has a 9.8, Bailey Rowe a 9.9. And Stover has a chance to put them back on track once again as well. It's so great to finish up with a strong routine here.
Very nice. More difficult jump, throwing that head back.
Adika Bynum, UCLA on floor.
Bynum shows a lot of difficulty in her tumbling. Watch this. Down the middle of the floor, double back. And a good hit routine for Utah.
Here's a young lady that spent quite a bit of time out of competition after a torn Achilles. So to see her back at this level, competing with explosive power is exciting. First team regular season All-American on the floor. NCAA regional co-champion on this event with a 9.95.
Tuck through to a double back. Showing off some difficulty in her tumbling passes. Good job.
Here's a young lady who came to UCLA as a walk-on, and that is once again part of the compelling story with the UCLA Bruins. Many of their outstanding performers this year came to the program as walk-ons and have earned a spot on the team. Okay. Jenny Lang getting a standing ovation from the people here at the Fort Worth Convention Center, and we extend our best wishes to her. And we hope to provide an update later with her status. A scary moment, but an enormous amount of respect for the people who understand just how hard gymnastics is. The junior from West Middlesex, Pennsylvania. Can never overestimate what incredibly tough, strong, and gritty athletes these young ladies are, Kathy. Brianna Brown from Michigan, competing as an individual, set on the floor.
Michigan, of course, has a great team, just had unfortunate errors at the regionals, kept them out of the national championships as a team. We've seen some great individual performances here.
And they have been, you know, a top 5, top 10 team all season long, but has had unlucky performances on the beam at the regional and couldn't quite recover.
if she can get a strong finish. This routine pulls it out. Well done.
After carrying off her teammate, now Holly Blansky has to go on bars after a very long wait.
Very long wait and obvious concern for her teammate. Really a gutsy performance here. Well done.
The judges gave her a 30-second warm-up after that long wait for the injury of Jenny Lang. So she wasn't put at so much of a disadvantage. She did get to touch the bars instead of waiting for 15 minutes.
Really tough situation for this team.
Final performer for the Cornhuskers on bars will be Grace Williams. So the official score posted for Jenny Lang is a 1, but we don't actually have a score to present to you that has any basis of understanding. Let's go to Laura.
Bart, we have an update on Nebraska's Jenny Lang. They're going to take her to a hospital and check on her, but I can report that she was moving and seemed to be smiling and feeling okay, but we're going to get more information as soon as we can. A lot of emotions over there for Nebraska, a lot of girls crying. Her parents were down there on the floor as well, and they're doing the best they can to just get everybody rallied again. A lot of hugs going around. We'll get you everything we know about Jenny Lang as we get more information.
Thank you, Laura. Grace Williams now. A little bit unlucky on floor exercise, but she's doing a nice job here on bars, especially considering the hardship.
They handled themselves incredibly well here. Came up strong with these final 2 performances, and thank you, Laura, for that report. That sounds positive, at least at this point. So.
An injury like that certainly sucks the wind out of the sails of Nebraska, but really everybody in this room is feeling it right now. All the teams and all of the audience. Kind of an eerie hush and sense of silence has kind of overcome this crowd. We'll just keep our fingers crossed that she's okay. Let's go back down to Laura, who has Coach Tom Farden from Utah.
All right, thank you, Bart. And Coach, your team had a little bit of a rough start to Beam, but what can you say about the way they bounced back toward the end?
You know, we were pleased that we got those last few routines done, and they did a nice, solid job on that. And as we all know, Beam can be very unforgiving, right?
Exactly. So what is your message to this team going forward as they continue to compete in this event?
Yeah, what I told them, I said, look, we're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. I just told them this in the corral. We're going to go to floor, and we're going to do this for our own pride, for our school pride, and we're going to go out there and knock it out.
We can't wait to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
All right, Tom Farden, his first season as the co-head coach, along with Megan Marsden at Utah. And when we come back, we'll update you on the scores after the 4th of 6 rotations here from Fort Worth. All right, welcome back to Fort Worth, Texas. This is the semifinal number 2 here on this long and grueling day of tense gymnastics as these teams hope to qualify for tomorrow night's Super 6 Finals, which is at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. Had a little bit of an unusual circumstance on vault for California. We're waiting on corrected scores because, as it turns out, 2 of their athletes switched their order in the competition and accidentally went out of order. So it results in a 1/10 of a point team deduction. So we're waiting on updating the scores, but let's take a look at some of the highlights from that particular rotation.
And it's too bad this was a solid event for them. That team deduction will come not on a particular vault, but from the team score. Nebraska had some good routines throughout this rotation, but the scary fall kind of put a damper on that. They came back strong and hit 2 more. Utah, the story here was just a meltdown. Unfortunately, they will count 2 falls. Very difficult, if not impossible, to recover from that, but they're going to go after it on floor. For pride's sake alone. And what a fun treat we had on floor exercise. The very entertaining choreography from all of the gymnasts from the team.
Okay, and when we come back, more. We move on to the 5th rotation. The Oklahoma Sooners are in the lead, and they go to the uneven bar. And we're back in Fort Worth and set for the 5th of 6 rotations. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge for that confusion around California's team deduction on the vault. Laura?
Well, that's right, Bart. And they said it's just really unfortunate because it was just an honest mistake. But Ariana Robinson going before Sylvie Solnat when actually the order was supposed to be reversed as according to what the Cal coaches turned in. But what they really meant to turn in was what actually happened. So they said that's the order that they normally go in, the order that they went in just now. And that was not what the judges were expecting. So they do unfortunately get that deduction. But they just said, look, an unfortunate mistake. And now we're deducted a 10.
Okay, well, I'm so glad you're down there to figure all this out for us, Laura. It's a little bit confusing because that is a very rarely taken deduction. Of course, Cal is competing without Tony Ann Williams, their finest gymnast, who's competing in Rio this weekend to try to qualify for the Olympics for her country where she has a citizenship in Jamaica. So UCLA, California, Nebraska, Utah, the top 4. Now they've done one more event than Oklahoma and Alabama, who are in good shape coming into this 5th rotation. Alabama goes to the floor, and that brings up Mackenzie Brannon from Austin, Texas.
And this just is a fun routine. Alabama does a good job showing the big E skills on their opening tumbling runs to impress the judges with the level of difficulty. And then this routine is very personality driven. Alabama has had a lot of experience competing on podium, which I think is a huge benefit here. They really know how to handle the extra bounce on the floor and absorb those landings well.
The SEC championships are the only conference championships that are actually held on a podium, and then they have a dual meet during the year, Auburn in Birmingham, and they host that on a podium as well. It's good for experience for both teams.
You can see her really shift gears, start thinking about this final tumbling run.
Good start for the Crimson Tide on floor exercise.
Nebraska on the balance beam. We've seen that event be quite fickle here, especially after seeing good warm-ups, really looked ready to perform. As I mentioned, this pressure is just so different.
Janae Honest from UCLA set for the vault.
They open with Angie Sipra on a 9-7. Like to build on that. All right, good landing. That was the best part of the vault. If I have to be a little bit picky, it wasn't quite high enough to get a really huge score, but wow, that landing was great.
Quickly to Oklahoma's Nicole Lehrman on bars, tied for 11th in the NCAA on this event.
Oklahoma looked really strong in the warm-ups on this event. Really going for every skill to maximum amplitude.
A.J. Jackson led them off with a 9.875.
Very clean on that dismount. Very elegant presentation of that full twisting double back.
Kind of a trademark of the Oklahoma Sooners is clean form and well-constructed routines that don't give away any unnecessary deductions.
Amanda Jeter on the floor exercise for Alabama.
Mac Brennan had a 9.85 in their leadoff position.
They have to really manage Jetter's ankle injury, rest her often on this event throughout the regular season, so they really have her when they need her.
Sonia Mraz on vault now for UCLA.
A little bit better height on that, but didn't quite get the landing that we saw from her teammate. Pretty big hop back.
Case Caps tied for 8th in the NCAA on bars and one of the best all-around gymnasts in the country. Currently number 2 in the all-around. Remember, here at these championships, individual event champions and all-around awards will be awarded at the end of tonight.
Really smooth execution throughout and accentuated the routine with a stuck landing. Now it's interesting, it'll be interesting to see what the judges think, because the amplitude on the release moves aren't quite as big as some of that we saw earlier in the competition, but clean form, they add that full pirouette before the release move, so we'll see.
9.9 was the score for Nicole Lehrman before her. And congratulations from her teammate A.J. Jackson, who led them off with a 9.875. Sadiqa Bynum for UCLA on the ball.
They haven't quite popped a really big score here. They've been solid. Much nicer vault. Very pretty in the air in that laid out position. That's the half twist.
Katie Bailey for Alabama on the floor. Jeter had a 9.8125 after Mac Brannon's 9.85.
She opens with the double Arabian. Usually has a really nice soft landing. See Alabama paying close attention to the details, trying to save any deduction.
Coming into this rotation, Oklahoma was in first. Alabama and UCLA very close, separated by .0125. And both of them just slightly ahead of Utah.
Nice finish to a routine. Very solid on all 3 tumbling passes. Good landings throughout.
Keely Kamichek on bars. Haley Skaman before her had a 9.85.
Nice toe on reverse hecht. Beautiful transition from the low bar up to the high bar. And a good solid final handstand to set up the dismount. Very open position in her half in, half out.
Oklahoma had 3 stuck landings in a row on bars. Kamichek just a little bit of a shuffle there. Their final performer will be Mackenzie Wofford, who is a specialist on that event. Madison Preston, the anchor performer on vault for UCLA.
Finishes strong with a 1.5 and a stuck landing.
Nice.
Nice finish for that rotation. The most difficult vault for this team. The only one that's worth a 10.0 in the code of points. That'll help.
Mackenzie Wofford now, look at that. Tied for first in the NCAA on this event. Her form is exquisite.
Beautiful finish to that full pirouette right on top of the bar. Nice blind change there. Love the way she keeps her toes pointed throughout the release move.
She's a pretty cool character on those handstands too, isn't she?
Really knows how to find that handstand.
And another stuck landing.
They really came up big time on the landings. And this bar rotation, excellent work. Good concentration throughout the whole routine, and they stayed patient to hit those handstands.
KJ Kindler's husband, Lou Ball, responsible for their work on the bars. I'm sure he'll be happy. Danielle Breen from Nebraska on the beam.
One arm back handspring to layout step out.
Good on to Laura.
So Bart, Breen was one of the most emotional team members after Jenny Lang's fall, and her teammates just telling her right before this, do it for Jenny.
Breen, the sophomore from Ames, Iowa.
I did get a quick comment from Dan Kendig, their head coach, that seems she's been taken to the hospital for precautionary measures, but she seemed fine, moving. So we will remain hopeful that that's the case. We have one missed routine so far on balance beam. Low score of 9-1-625 they want to drop. Strong finish. Right there with co-head coach Heather Brink doing a nice job coaching this balance beam team.
Lauren Beers on the floor for Alabama. Kiana Winston had a 9.9. Otherwise, all 3 other scores are 9, 9.8, 9.8 or better.
Oh, that was one of her best double layouts. A little awkward on the step back.
Flag went up, so an additional 1/10 of a point for going out. Must be nice to have too much power. Lauren Beers has had a just incredible career at Alabama. Senior from Warren Center, Pennsylvania.
He's had a tremendous collegiate career, both in and out of the gym. a scholar athlete, just a great student, 4.0.
Now in graduate school, in addition to competing here at these championships.
Strong routine, just that one out of bounds in the step.
Well, I have a feeling if Alabama keeps going the way they are, they'll move on to the Super 6 finals and have a chance to correct that tomorrow night. Holly Blansky now for Nebraska on the beam.
Nice series, two-back handspring to the layout.
Danielle Breen had a 9.8, 3.75. That's their high score there so far.
Moving very confidently. Got to work just a little bit on the legs straight, keeping them really tight and extended. Nice height on the double twist dismount, and feels so great to hit the routine and then finish it off with a stuck landing.
Final competitor for Alabama on the floor, Carly Sims. Kiana Winston had a 9.9. The score is in now for Lauren Beers after going out of bounds, a 9.75 for her.
And there is such joy in this routine. She just lights up. Strong double layout, a little bit of a pike down, but very minor. Judges will really scrutinize these landings. They don't want to see too much bounce on the landing or too big a step forward or back.
Go back to January, she had a broken bone in her foot. She had surgery. So since mid-January, she had surgery in mid-season, basically, the early part of the season, and still came back.
You know a thing or two about chips in a joint that can just really get in the way, be very painful.
She took an awkward landing on a vault and had surgery shortly thereafter. Grace Williams finishing up for Nebraska on the beam.
Nice job by Carly Sims on floor.
Holly Blansky had a season-high 9.85 for Nebraska, so things are looking up there. They have that 1.91625 that they'll hope to drop depending on the score here.
Great job.
So a very emotional Nebraska team after the injury to Jenny Lang, who was normally in the beam lineup. They have 5 strong scores for the Cornhusker. All right, Laura is with Coach Val Condos Field.
All right, thank you so much, Bart. And Coach, by our calculations, you have clinched a spot in Super 6. How does it feel to know that you will have a chance to compete for a national championship?
It's great to be back on the Super 6. It's been 2 years, and this team I knew could do it if we just did it our way. Just do normal. And normal for us is chill gymnastics, have a lot of fun, dial in some details, and we'll get there.
You mentioned that fun. So many individuals on your team. How does celebrating their individuality just really bring success for this program?
You know what? That's one reason why I love UCLA so much. That diversity. I love the fact that they're so multicultural. They're from so many different countries. Their personalities are so different. And I don't know. I just feel like we're a little microcosm of the world.
We see it in your gymnastics. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. And Nina McGee, who is always a highlight on the floor for Denver. They had a great season, but did not do well, unfortunately, at the NCAA regionals, so they are not represented here as a full team. But this is one of the great routines
all
in
the
college
competitors
gymnastics.
here love to stop and watch this routine.
So much fun.
Nice form in her double pipe.
The senior from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, the audience loved it.
Oh,
look at that. They're all on their feet.
How nice. This young lady has set nearly every record at Denver, and she's getting a lot of appreciation on the sidelines from Alabama.
They were all shouting 10 for her.
He's a 2016 AAI award finalist as well as one of the top senior student athletes. Good job. All right, come back because the rotation 6 is up when we come back to Fort Worth.
Welcome back, and here with Alabama head coach Dana Duckworth. And Dana, coming off of a very strong floor performance, how are you feeling?
You know what? We feel confident. We're trusting what we came here to do, and now we just need to go over to vault and do what we've been doing every day, which has been good vaults, consistent, and hit our landings.
This team is capable of some very big vaults. What in particular do you need to see from their technique?
I just want them to trust it. I want them to get really good on the front side of the horse, so the back side of the horse takes care of itself, and I want them to enjoy this moment. We're in a good position. We don't need to do anything bigger or better. We just need to be confident and do what we do, and I'm just so proud of where we are right now that I want them to go in there and have fun.
We're all having fun. Thank you. Bart?
Roll Tide.
Thank you, ladies. Okay, that wrapped up the 5th rotation. UCLA, the leader in the clubhouse, so to speak, won 96-7, has clinched a spot. Nebraska and Oklahoma, of course, the 4 teams on the bottom of that scale there have yet to go, and they will go in this 6th and final rotation. Some highlights from the 5th.
UCLA did a nice job over on vault, just knocking out vault after vault. Gave away some deductions that they can pick up on when they go into the finals. Oklahoma was superb over on the uneven bars. Nebraska came back strong on the balance beam, had some problems. This event has been a little bit of a fiend for some of the teams here. And Alabama really put up some good numbers here on floor exercise. Kiana Winston finishing strong. And wow, they are headed to the balance beam. Oklahoma has to tackle that mean event, and Bama goes to the vault. It's going to be big.
Coverage of the NCAA championships continues with the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Selection Show on May 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. For more information on the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship, log on to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. This is it, folks, the last rotation. Here are the scores after 5. UCLA, Nebraska have completed their competitions. Oklahoma, Alabama, California, and Utah will finish theirs. Once again, top 3 teams advance to the Super 6 final, which is 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, and man, it's going to be exciting. Oklahoma goes to the beam, where they're the #1 team in the country. Alabama goes to the vault. where they're the number 5 team in the country.
We'll see if Oklahoma can tame this beast. Balance beam has not been kind to some of the teams. Tiny little balance check.
Keely McNear for Alabama on the vault.
What a nice start for this rotation. That is better than good.
Beautiful form.
Great flight in the air. And when you get a stick like that in your first vault, this can be contagious. Very nicely done. Notice how KJ Kindler approaches her athletes, gets right face to face, giving them last minute instructions before a balance beam, reminding them of their strong cues. You really want to minimize the noise in your head as you compete balance beam. Just really focus on those strong cues for each skill.
Oklahoma, 2014 NCAA co-champions along with Florida. Disappointed in this very arena last year, just a little bit off in the Super 6 final. They're looking strong today. Amber Takara on bars now for California.
Very nice Ginger for her release move. It's one of the changes in the bar requirements to be up to the level. They want to see that single bar release move. Oh, unfortunately had to take that little hop. I thought she had the stick.
Nicole Lehrman from Oklahoma on the beam. 9.8375 was the score for Keely Kmiecek in leadoff position. Oklahoma traditionally very good on this event. 3 new members in the lineup this year on beam.
Really like the way she straightened out her body, her hips and shoulders between the back handspring and the layout. Looked like she was a little off on the back handspring, but really pulled it back on in the air.
Coach Kindler likes to set her beam lineup early in the year and commit to it for the whole season, but this year she had to make some changes, which is not like her.
Another solid routine and a stuck landing. They have come up with a lot of good landings.
I hope they save a few for the Super 6 finals tomorrow. The Sooners look like if they keep pouring it on, they'll be an easy qualifier and challenge for a title tomorrow night. Katie Bailey from Alabama on the vault, and they're right there.
They are on a roll here. What a vault. That was the best she has performed that vault all year long. Really got the position in the air, froze those feet just enough.
I think this is their 3rd stick in a row. Nikki Guerrero at 9.875 before her.
This is as clean as she's been, as straight a body line in that layout position.
She couldn't move her feet if she tried. Wow, this is Guerrero's vault.
Nails the 1.5 twist. There's something going around in this arena. These stuck landings are popping up left and right.
That's going to boost their confidence going into the Super 6 finals tomorrow night, knowing that they can stick vaults on this podium where it's a little bouncy. Mac Brennan will be next to go for Alabama.
Just watching her face, first making contact, visual contact with teammates and staying focused on her vault. This is a 1.5 twist.
Wow, another one!
Goodness gracious.
This is unreal.
Bart, like you just said before, hopefully they're saving some of these or can at least duplicate what we are seeing here. This is the best vaulting they've done all season.
And Katie Bailey before her, a career high 9.95.
They are as hot as can be on this event.
We're talking 6 judges, the high and low thrown out, 4 average, and they're still rocking big scores for the Crimson Tide. They look good here.
And amazingly, they have another huge vault coming up with Lauren Beers, another 1.5 twist. She actually scored a 10-0 on this vault earlier in the season. She'd wanted that stuck landing for so long, finally got it.
Score for Brandon, 9.9125. That's a season high, and she did it here at the NCAA semifinals. Let's see what Lauren Beers can do. Can she keep this momentum?
Oh, so close. Actually, it's a better vault.
Yes, big.
Big vault, but they have to take the deduction for the step, but nothing takes away from the amplitude we just saw in that final vault from Alabama. Boy, what a huge event for Alabama. Great performance, really, from the beginning of competition. They have just built momentum to this point.
In the lower left corner, Oklahoma still on the beam. Jessica Howe for Cal on bars.
Nice strong finish.
Carly Sims now for Alabama on vault. Beers' vault score will likely clinch the Super 6 spot for Alabama. So this is icing on the cake.
Nicely done. She hasn't been in the vault lineup much this season. I know she's excited to get one here. Well, just strut your stuff.
Yeah. Some kind of Project Runway thing going on, the vault runway. Well done for the Crimson Tide. They are rolling into the Super 6 final. 6 times they've reigned as NCAA team champions, looking really good here. Samantha Partika from Utah on floor. Utah can pick it up after a disappointing rotation on the beam.
They have really good scores so far, all in the 9.8, 3.75 range, and even a 9.8, 6.25 from Tiffany Lewis. Came back strong here after beam. Great to see them come back strong here, no doubt. Hard to hide the disappointment, though.
Charity Jones for the Sooners on beam. Really good scores there. 9.925 for Natalie Brown. Stephanie Couture, a 9.8375. Nicole Lehrman, a 9.9. And Keely Kamichek, a 9.8375.
And really, the teams that have done well on balance beam are the ones who were consistent throughout the season. You really have to build that kind of confidence to handle this type of pressure on this event.
Charity Jones from just up the road in Oklahoma City. Junior. She was born in Miami, Oklahoma, as they say around those parts. Nice job. So with that routine, Oklahoma will clinch a spot into the Super 6. Alabama has clinched a spot as well with their vaults. And UCLA will make it as well, regardless of the score for Utah's on the floor.
You won't see a more lovely routine. This is just extraordinary. I've seen video of the routine throughout the season. It's just extraordinary presentation.
Sabrina Schwab. The 2016 Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, as voted by the conference coaches.
Such pretty pictures throughout this routine. Lovely position, even elegant on the tumbling.
She has hit 24 for 24 routines in her collegiate career as Chase Capps takes to the balance beam. Leads the nation. Even without the score from Chase Capps coming in, Oklahoma has moved into the top spot, so they surpass even Florida, who won session number 1.
And it's all the stuck landings when you don't give away those obvious tenths of a point.
Charity Jones had a 9.9 before her, a career high. Of course, the all-around is in contention as well, and Chase Capps a contender there. Bridget Sloan, the current leader, with a 39.7. She's had a fine day.
Minor little balance check right there. Managed to connect those 2 leaps, keeping her concentration. All the way through to the end.
Another stuck landing.
They certainly have the patent on landings. Between Oklahoma and Alabama, we saw a bunch.
Chase Capps would need a 10 to tie Bridget Sloan for the all-around championship. We have not seen a 10, especially with 6 judges. It means you'd have to get a high 10 thrown out and 4 10s in the middle average. Brianna Hughes, final performer for Utah here in these championships. Pac-12 and region all-around champion, ranked number 7 in the country in the all-around.
So great to see the tremendous support between these teammates. They're together through thick and thin. Utah finishes strong on the floor.
That wraps up the team competition here in semifinal number 2. Alabama, by the way, a season high after sticking all of those vaults. 49.4875. So we can now officially announce the Super 6. From semifinal 1, it's Florida, LSU, and Georgia. From this semifinal, Oklahoma with the top scorer of all the teams at these championships. Alabama and UCLA round out the 6 teams in tomorrow's Super 6 final. And our Laura is with OU's coach, KJ Kindler.
All right, thank you, Bart. And Coach, you now have the highest score heading into the Super 6. And certainly never easy to be the #1 seed with a target on your backs. How did this team handle the pressure?
I don't think we look at ourselves in that manner. I mean, Florida's a 3-time national championship consecutive winner, so we're just trying to do the best we can every day. We left a lot out on the floor today, so I think there's still more in the tank, so that's good.
What more is in the tank? What would you like to see improve tomorrow?
Well, our bookends on both vault and floor, and what I mean by that is our first up and our last up didn't quite do the job that they've been doing all year, and I know they can do way better. So I'm excited to see that tomorrow. And then there's landings and little things always that you can do. So we're just going to put our best foot forward and see what happens.
Stuck landings throughout tonight. How much boost can that give you going into tomorrow, especially with the podium and the extra bounce?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm most impressed with, I think, is their mental strength. And though the podium has extra bounce and all those things, they've handled it mentally. And that's most important.
I know you like to dance. You going to be dancing tonight at all?
No, I got to go to bed.
We're exhausted.
We feel you on that. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right, congratulations to KJ Kindler in her 10th season. She's the only coach in NCAA history to take 2 teams to the Super 6 final. She did it at Iowa State, and now she's done it once again at Oklahoma. So here are the semi-final number 2 results. Oklahoma, Alabama, and UCLA will advance to tomorrow's Super 6 finals tomorrow night at 9 Eastern on ESPNU.
Piney Hills. I got this, Pops. What's up, dude and dude?
The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships is presented by Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently. And in part by Joe's Crab Shack. Crack the crab. And Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance.
Well, that wraps up semifinal number 2. So here are the Super 6 finalists. From semifinal 1 earlier today, it was Florida, LSU, and Georgia. And from tonight's session, Oklahoma, Alabama, and UCLA. They will go for the NCAA team title tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. And man, what a thrilling meet that's going to be, Kathy.
I can't even imagine. I am so impressed with the effort from all these teams, but the finals is going to be tough. It could be the closest ever, and we've seen close.
Our Laura Rutledge is with Coach Dana Duckworth from Alabama.
All right, thank you, Bart. And we're having a real dance party over here, and it's appropriate considering you wanted big vaults and you got them in addition to a ton of stuck landings. What was it like watching them vault in that final rotation?
I was so proud of the hard work they put in. It was so amazing. It just kept getting better and better. And you know, we've been hot salsa all day on floor. Well, I brought you a little treat. We were hot salsa on vault tonight.
Are you going to open that and taste it?
No, you know what? We had fun tonight, and we know we have to focus and do our job tomorrow, but the idea of being in the Super 6, it never gets old, and it's such an honor. So we're going to go out there, we're going to make the Bama Nation proud, and we're going to do what we do and just let it all out.
I heard you have a special leotard to debut tomorrow, too.
Yes, so we had one debut this year that was the Carshilla because it was Carly and Brian. Well, I did one with Carly, and it's called the Simsworth. And it's hot, and wait till you see it tomorrow, and we get to wear it.
I love it. I really want to know how spicy that salsa is. What does it say?
This is mega. It's picante sauce. It's very spicy.
Very, very spicy. Thanks so much, Dana.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. Roll Tide.
Congratulations to them. The whole interview, she's being photobombed by her entire team. Oh, you gotta love the energy and the enthusiasm from the Crimson Tide. They will be in the hunt for their 7th NCAA team championship tomorrow, and boy, were they impressive. As we mentioned earlier, individual champions are crowned at the end of this session. Randy J. from Georgia, Katie Bailey from Alabama will share the title on vault. Bridget Sloan and Brittany Rogers will share the title on bars. Bridget Sloan and Danusha Francis share the title on beam. Nina McGee, a well-deserved championship all by herself on the floor. And Bridget Sloan, another NCAA all-around title. She wins 3 of the 5 championships tonight, but I think the one she has her eyes focused on is the Super 6 team championship, which would mean that she would win a team title all 4 years of her collegiate career. What a thrilling night for gymnastics. The Oklahoma Sooners have the highest score coming into the team final tomorrow, and it's going to be a thriller. So be sure to join us tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU when the final 6 teams fight for an NCAA title. For Kathy Johnson-Clark and Laura Rutledge, I'm Bart Connor. So long from Fort Worth, Texas. Coming up next is College Football Daily Spring Blitz.